The Great Emu War of 1932 stands as one of the most bizarre military engagements in history. Unlike conventional wars fought between nations, this battle was waged against an unlikely enemy: emus. These large, flightless birds, native to Australia, managed to outmaneuver and ultimately defeat the Australian military, turning what was supposed to be a simple eradication effort into a humiliating debacle. After World War I, Australia faced severe economic struggles. The global economy was in turmoil, and the Great Depression had made matters worse. Farmers, who were already struggling with plummeting wheat prices, found themselves in an even more precarious situation when the Australian government encouraged increased wheat production. The government assured farmers that it would purchase their wheat at fair prices, providing them with much-needed financial relief. However, when the time came, the government reneged on its promise, offering significantly lower rates. This betrayal led to widespread frustration and unrest among farmers, who were left with fields full of wheat, but no profitable way to sell it. Amid this financial crisis, another unexpected disaster struck: an invasion of emus. Every year, emus migrate from inland Australia to coastal areas in search of food and water. In 1932, their migration coincided with the wheat harvest season, and the birds found an abundance of food waiting for them in Western Australia's farmlands. A staggering 20,000 emus descended upon the wheat fields, consuming up to 2 kilograms of wheat per bird each day. Within days, entire fields were devastated. Farmers, already struggling to make ends meet, now face the additional burden of trying to protect their crops from an unrelenting horde of birds. Despite their best efforts, scare tactics and barricades proved ineffective. The emus were simply too fast, too numerous, and too resilient. Desperate for a solution, the Australian government decided to take drastic measures. In what seemed like a straightforward plan, the military was deployed to eliminate the emu threat. Armed with machine guns and thousands of rounds of ammunition, the soldiers expected an easy victory. They believed that their superior weaponry and tactical training would make short work of the emus, eradicating them from the farmlands and restoring order. However, they underestimated their feathered adversaries. What was supposed to be a swift and decisive campaign soon turned into a battle of wits, speed, and endurance, one that the emus would ultimately win. The first military engagement against the emus was met with immediate complications. Heavy rainfall made it difficult for soldiers to set up their positions, and the emus, rather than gathering in large clusters scattered across the landscape, this unexpected behavior made them difficult to target with machine guns. By the end of the day, only 5 to 7 emus had been killed, while the rest had successfully fled into the surrounding bushland. The soldiers quickly realized that this battle would not be as simple as they had anticipated. Determined to succeed, the military adjusted its strategy. Soldiers set up ambush points in areas where large numbers of emus were expected to gather. At one point, a flock of nearly 1,000 emus approached, giving the soldiers a perfect opportunity to strike. However, as soon as the first shots rang out, the emus scattered in all directions. Their ability to flee at high speeds, reaching up to 50 kilometers per hour, made them nearly impossible to track. To make matters worse, the soldiers' machine guns jammed at a critical moment, allowing the vast majority of the emus to escape unharmed. After 2 failed missions, the military took a more observational approach. They noticed that emus moved in coordinated groups and appeared to have leaders that guided their movements and alerted others to potential threats. Whenever soldiers approached, these leader emus would signal the flock to disperse. The birds displayed remarkable intelligence and agility, evading gunfire with quick, unpredictable movements. What should have been an easy culling operation was becoming an outright embarrassment. In a final attempt to gain the upper hand, the military mounted machine guns onto trucks, hoping that a high-speed pursuit would allow them to mow down the emus more efficiently. However, the rugged, uneven terrain made aiming nearly impossible. As the trucks sped across the farmlands, soldiers struggled to keep their weapons steady, often missing their targets completely. The plan took an even more disastrous turn when an emu, in an unexpected maneuver, ran directly into the steering wheel of one of the vehicles, causing the truck to crash. By the end of the campaign, the soldiers had fired over 2,000 rounds of ammunition, yet only 200 emus had been killed. The mission was an undeniable failure. After weeks of failed attempts, the Australian government finally decided to abandon the operation. The military had expended significant resources, yet the emus remained largely unscathed. The soldiers withdrew in defeat, leaving the farmers to continue their battle against the relentless birds on their own. The media quickly picked up on the absurdity of the situation, and politicians mocked the military's failure, with some jokingly suggesting that the emus should be awarded medals for their resilience. Thus, the infamous Great Emu War ended, with the birds emerging as the undisputed victors. Despite the military's withdrawal, the emu problem persisted. In response, the government introduced a bounty system in 1934, offering financial rewards for each emu killed. This approach proved far more effective than the military intervention, as local hunters and farmers managed to eliminate over 57,000 emus in just 6 months. However, the mass culling drew criticism from international animal rights organizations, forcing Australia to reconsider its approach. In modern times, Australian farmers have developed more sustainable methods to protect their crops. The most effective solution has been the construction of long, durable fences to keep emus out of farmland. While emus continue to be a presence in the Australian outback, they are no longer the overwhelming threat they once were. The Great Emu War remains one of the most unusual military operations in history. Despite having access to advanced weaponry, trained soldiers, and strategic planning, the Australian military failed to defeat a species of flightless birds. The story serves as both a humorous anecdote and a lesson in the unpredictability of nature. Sometimes, even the most advanced forces can be outmatched by sheer adaptability and resilience. If you found this story fascinating, be sure to like, share, and comment below. Do not forget to subscribe for more incredible and little-known historical events. See you in the next video.